He sends money again. It's not the first time. Temporary lang. Tuition, medical bill, rent, business capital. Each request sounds reasonable. Each explanation sounds urgent. And each time, he tells himself, it's just this once. But months pass, then years. The pattern doesn't stop, it stabilizes. And slowly, something changes. Not in the person asking, but in the person giving. At first, helping feels responsible. It feels loving. It feels mature. But over time, helping becomes automatic. He no longer waits to be asked. He anticipates the problem. He solves it before it escalates. And the family adjusts. They stop planning around instability because someone else absorbs it. This is where something subtle begins. Not exploitation, but adaptation. In family systems psychology, there is a pattern called overfunctioning and underfunctioning. One person becomes the stabilizer, the fixer, the one who steps in early. The other person gradually becomes less adaptive, less urgent, less pressured to change. It's rarely intentional, but the system reorganizes itself around the most reliable person. And when one member overfunctions, the others unconsciously underfunction. Not because they are incapable, but because the pressure to grow is reduced. Here's the part that makes this difficult. The overfunctioning person feels morally correct. I'm just being responsible. And they are. But responsibility without limits creates dependency. When discomfort is removed repeatedly, the pressure to grow disappears. Human beings adapt to relief. If someone else absorbs financial stress, there is less incentive to restructure habits, not because they are lazy, but because urgency has been outsourced. Scarcity plays a role here. If you grew up in financial instability, you may have internalized a rule: never let the family fall. So you respond quickly, aggressively, preventively. You don't just help, you stabilize. And stabilizing feels safer than letting someone struggle. But controlled struggle is often the mechanism of growth. Without it, fragility remains. Over time, the overfunctioning person begins to feel fatigue, resentment, pressure, financial delay. Savings are slower, investments are postponed, risk tolerance shrinks, because now their margin is thinner. Ironically, the person stabilizing everyone else loses their own flexibility. And when that happens, growth for everyone stalls. At what point does support become enabling? Not when help is given, but when growth pressure is permanently removed. Support should be temporary stabilization, not permanent substitution. There is a difference between helping someone recover and carrying someone indefinitely. Family systems theory also introduces another concept: differentiation, the ability to grow without emotionally cutting off from the family. You do not have to abandon people to create boundaries. You do not have to stop caring to stop overfunctioning. But you do have to tolerate discomfort. Their discomfort. and your guilt. Growth often requires allowing small instability so long-term stability can develop. The message arrives again. Temporary lang. This time, the response is different. Not cold, not rejecting, but measured. Because support without boundaries creates fragility. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is allow someone to carry their own weight